Today we're going to talk about Gambit joining X-Men, and then we're going to talk about the Phase 3 universe just released. What's up, everybody? Welcome to TotallyAFan, the show where I, a total fan, come to you and I bring you news in movies, TV, video games, comic books, everything involving the world of fandom, and we bring that information to you. Now, before we get started, I want to remind everybody that we have segments and stuff like that posted throughout. They're all timestamped downstairs, so if there's something in particular you guys want to watch, please click in the description down below. You'll be able to see that timestamp. Also, we weren't able to find a winner for the Walking Dead zombie mode contest.
Aww.
I tried telling people, like, hey, you won, and nobody ever responded. So
no one cares.
Nobody cares. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to extend it, and the first person who claims it will get the Walking Dead pop vinyl figure that I have.
Can I claim it?
No, you can't claim it.
Why not?
Because you're on the show, man.
So?
You're a host on the show. You can't claim it.
I'm gonna make like an alternate account. Sock puppet account.
The sock puppet wins.
I'm Jimmy from Michigan.
So all you guys have to do is just send a picture of us, zombie mode. It could be from the Walking Dead app, or it could be anything. Just send it to us, and then we'll go ahead and we'll pick a winner that way. The Gambit movie was reported to be in the works maybe about a month or two back, with Channing Tatum wanting to lead.
Oh, Channing Tatum. The abs.
Oh God. Oh God.
Oh my God.
Oh man. So he was leading the charge that he wanted to do it, and it appears that he actually has a Cajun background. He's from Louisiana. Things of that nature. He was trying to display that he can do it. I don't see why not.
He looks the part. He's got that like nice, thick, strong jaw that I just want to caress my hand with.
I'll say he looks, he definitely fit, but in terms of the actual look, maybe I guess I can kind of see it. The report was that he wanted to lead the role, and now it looks like they're actually moving forward on it. It's actually getting ready to come out. They're trying to figure a release date and everything like that. And then they're actually going to play, maybe not necessarily an origin, but have a little bit more of the Cajun aspect to them that they didn't have in the X-Men Origins movie the first time around with Taylor Kitsch. So with that moving forward, is it possible we can see him in X-Men Age of Apocalypse? Maybe, maybe not, because supposedly they're trying to get the movie in, I think, in 2018 or something like that.
That's enough time to squeeze him in there.
No, but Age of Apocalypse is coming, I think, like next year or the year after. Yeah, it's coming soon.
They can get him in there.
They could always introduce him and then do his standalone movie afterwards.
Yeah, I always thought that was the plan, to have him in there first, like a cameo or a scene, and then his whole spin-off movie.
Right, because he's supposed to be one of the Horsemen.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, if you watch the ending trailer, the four horsemen are represented by war, pestilence, famine, and death. And Gambit is one of those. He plays one of those horsemen in the storyline. There's a couple other characters that play the storyline too, and it's possible we may get to see those characters in X-Men Age of Apocalypse. The only problem is that some of the ages of the characters may not reflect what they were in the comic book. For example, Storm was a horseman, but when she's older, and technically according to this storyline, she's still kind of young. But they could also do Magneto, Professor X. Angel was another one that really known for it. So they can go a lot of different ways there. But I'm super excited for it anyways, because just everything, ever since Marvel started with their whole Avengers initiative, all the other productions that have Marvel movies, they seem to have gotten better.
We could do it too.
Yeah, it seems like they have
shared
gotten better.
universe too.
Right, so I'm super excited. So Jesse, what are your thoughts with Channing Tatum being Gambit, and then...
Anyone's better than that Friday Night Lights guy. He was a terrible Gambit.
I don't know, man.
So he was pretty bad. I didn't see him. So I mean, I personally wouldn't picture Channing Tatum, but I mean, I think he could do it. Obviously, I mean, I think he can. Definitely, he's got those action, the action background, so he could probably do it all right. Anyone's better than whatever his face was. That whole movie was just poopy. Poopy on a stick. So no, I'm looking forward to that. I mean, we'll just have to see how well he does. So.
Yeah, I mean, I like Channing Tatum. There's nothing against him. I agree. I don't know if I see him for the role. But Taylor Kitsch, I like Taylor Kitsch. It's just I don't like the way they did it in the movie. Like I don't know. Back before Phase 1, there was so much that they needed to do right that they did wrong. And like I said, after the Avengers initiative, that's when everybody else was like, okay, we gotta step our game up. So again, I'm excited for it. I don't know. He's a good actor. He's got the action chops, but that's something that we're gonna have to wait and see.
He's got chops, all right.
You like Thor?
Oh, I love Thor.
You love Thor and Chris Hemsworth? And Channing Tatum.
I'd eat a fruit salad off his chest any day.
I'm curious now. Who else is your like superhero crush?
Hawkeye's kind of hot. No, I don't know.
Jeremy Renner.
Like, I think we should move on.
We're gonna use this one. We're gonna use it. I say Steve Rogers himself, man. Chris Evans.
Nah.
He's
too broad.
No, he's getting there. He's getting there.
Too broad for me.
He's getting there, but I will say Chris Hemsworth is definitely like ripped. This is such a weird subject, but
ripped.
It's interesting. I'm actually curious. I want to open this up to you guys.
Who's the hottest actor?
Who's the hottest Marvel actor? Marvel actor. Actually, you know what? Who's your hottest Marvel and who's your hottest DC actor? A couple days ago, Marvel had like a press conference that was for the fans. They got everybody together. They set this thing up in advance, saying that they were going to release some major news, and lo and behold, they released Phase 3. Now, there's a couple things that they didn't talk about, which we're going to talk about for this segment first. Some of those topics were the Hulk movie, Spider-Man, and Ant-Man. Now, Ant-Man, right off the bat, obviously didn't talk about him because we already have a release date. We already have some footage. We already know they're working on, so they didn't talk about that.
Everyone assumed Ant-Man would start Phase 3 because they end a phase with Avengers, but Ant-Man is now the end of Phase 2, so they just kind of pushed him aside, which I don't know what that means, but...
I mean, it's because everybody already knows about Ant-Man. That's the thing. We already know that he's coming. We already know his movie's ready. We already know who the actors are. All of that was already pre-planned, so they didn't have a need to just bring it on again. So that's fine. That's, pushed aside for now. The Planet Hulk movie. A lot of people were speculating that Planet Hulk was going to get a solo movie. In addition, a lot of people were speculating that Black Widow was going to get a solo movie. But they didn't talk about it during this press release, so that kind of leads us to believe that that's not happening.
I think the producer...
At least not now.
The producer said that Hulk and Black Widow, not to demean them or anything, but they're more supporting characters, but that's where their strengths are. So they're going to be in a bunch of these Phase 3 movies. Hulk is going to pop up. They didn't say which ones, but he's going to pop up in some of these movies as, doing whatever he's doing. So, I'm kind of disappointed they didn't do a Hulk movie. Everyone, I think, loves the Mark Ruffalo Hulk. So maybe eventually, but now it's going to be, 2019 that Phase 3 is over? So all these actors are going to get pretty old.
Right. I think they still could do a Hulk scene or something, but it's just dedicated to him in one of these new movies. But I'm not 100% sure on that. Of course, this is just speculation, just guessing. But he's not going to get his Planet Hulk solo movie, which for me is kind of sad, but it makes sense because the first one, I kind of like the cinematography for that one. That movie overall bombed. Edward Norton's
the first one.
The first one. Edward Norton's the second one. That one was actually good. I like that one, and I definitely would have loved to have seen that one progress because they hinted at I want to say the Master, but that's not right. But they hinted at him possibly being the villain for the next one, but they never went forward. So we're not going to get that one. And the Black Widow, I wasn't even sure that we were going to get that. I know a lot of people wanted it for the feminism portrayal, but I didn't think that was going to happen.
What can you really do in a Black Widow movie? You could explore her origin a little bit more, but when you boil it down, it's just like Jason Bourne. It's just like Taken. It's just going to be an action movie where she's kicking ass and fighting guys. There's no real superhero element. I think that's what they want in a Marvel movie. So I think just letting her explore her origins in other movies and have, she's probably going to be in Captain America 3 and, other movies. So I think just doing it that way is fine. Just like Hawkeye getting cast at the side. No one cares about Hawkeye.
Right, so that's not going to happen. And now, Spider-Man. Now, in a supposed, I want to say report, but somebody confronted Feige, who, by the way, Kevin Feige is phenomenal. He is the champion of Marvel Studios right now. I love that guy, and Feige we trust. But somebody talked to Kevin Feige about the possibility of Spider-Man. Well, he didn't technically deny it, but he didn't confirm it either. So the whole speculation of Sony loaning Spider-Man is kind of up in the fence because Sony still plans on doing Spider-Man 3. They still plan on releasing that. It has a release date, I think, of 2016. And the spin-off movie and the Sinister Six.
Does it say Spider-Man 3, that release date, or does it say Untitled Spider-Man movie, that release date?
I believe it was Spider-Man 3. Because they have this...
Because they did what Marvel did. They have blocks saved for a movie, but I don't think they've confirmed what that movie is right now. It could just be an open block for anything.
Okay.
Which, when you look at the order, it should be Spider-Man 3, but I don't know what they're going to do with that.
I'll have to double check it because supposedly what I read was that the spin-off for everybody's speculating a female superhero Spider-Man movie is in 2015 next year.
Spider-Girl.
Actually, I heard they were going to have a couple Spider women in there. So that one's supposedly for 15.
Spider
16 and 7 there's and 16 we're supposed to have Spider-Man 3 plus the Sinister Six movie.
Spider-Broad.
Spider-Broad. That was the plans I read, but I'll have to double check. And if you guys know, definitely put some in the comments downstairs. But they still plan on doing that. So if they loan Spider-Man, they can definitely put him in any other of these movies, but it's not confirmed whether he's permanently back with Marvel Studios or not. Kevin Feige didn't say.
No, as long as they keep making Spider-Man movies, then they keep the character.
I guess, but
So,
I mean, with
that's
Sony
why
not doing well, they're gonna have to figure something out.
Another reboot number 5.
Apart from that, a couple other speculations were also met, and we're going to talk about that in our next segment as we release each chapter in Phase 3. So Captain America 3, properly titled Civil War, is going to be released May 6th, 2016. I'm super excited for this. We've been getting hints and rumors about the possibility of Tony Stark going to be in the next Captain movie. The talks of Civil War was getting bigger and bigger, and now it's confirmed. And at the press release as well, they also had a little sneak peek of Age of Ultron, where Tony and Steve Rogers are talking about, something along the lines of what causes the Civil War. I remember the line.
I know he broke a log in half with his bare hands, so he's pretty pissed.
Yeah, but he says it's like people who try to finish the war before it even starts gets people killed or something along those lines. And that kind of helps go to the Civil War, and I think it's going to be awesome. Doctor Strange it was confirmed for November 6, 2016. Now, there are some rumors speculating around this. First off, Joaquin Phoenix was supposedly in talks of playing the role, and for whatever reason, he backed out, so, they couldn't find somebody else. And now, actually, I think we hinted at it last week, but I actually recently read up on it, and it's actually not yet quite confirmed that Benedict Cumberbatch will play Doctor Strange. That's not confirmed yet.
It's like final. He's got to sign his name.
Basically, but it's not yet confirmed.
When all the reports come out, it's basically a 90% done deal.
This is true. I mean, so far
it's just probably working out his contract. How many? Marvel likes to have their characters appear in 6 different movies. Does he want to do that? How many does he want to appear in? So they're just probably figuring that out, and then.
Right. This is one thing I want you guys to keep in mind. When you read anything that says so-and-so is in talks with Marvel or in talks with Warner Brothers to do this, when it says in talks with, it's generally they're just talking about it. It's not that this is going to happen. When we get reports that they're in final negotiations or that they're on the final whatever, then that's a pretty good sign it's going to happen. So that's something to keep in mind. Because I know a lot of people go about rumors and stuff like that, and it gets lost in translation. Guardians of the Galaxy 2, May 5th, 2017. Now, we knew that we're going to get a sequel. We finally got a date. This is awesome. And that's going to play a bigger overall role to a movie that's going to later down our list here. Thor 3 Ragnarok is going to be coming out July 28th, 2018. Now, I don't know too much of the Ragnarok story, but based off what I've, looked up.
Everyone dies.
Everyone dies.
Everyone dies.
Everyone's just gone. No. Seriously though, it's kind of like a Sword of the Stone.
Everyone dies.
This guy.
Everyone dies. That's basically it. It's the whole. It's the end of the trilogy. Ragnarok is like this big death cloud. Just everyone dies.
Everyone dies.
So it'd be a good opportunity to have some Lady Thor. I don't know.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Let's see what happens with that one.
We'll see. I don't know.
Based on what I read, Ragnarok is kind of a Sword in the Stone kind of thing where if the sword is removed from the stone, all hell breaks loose. Everyone dies.
Everyone dies.
Everyone dies.
It's not a spoiler. That's like in the title.
One of Thor's major villains is supposedly going to be in this movie here, apart from Loki, of course. And we also getting reports that Loki and Heimdall are supposed to return. I know a lot of people are geeking out because Loki. Everybody loves Tom Hiddleston. He's a good actor, I'll give you that, and he plays an awesome Loki. But it's called Thor, not Loki.
Thor and Loki.
I just want to make sure people know that because sometimes because with other shows, it's like The Walking Daryl. It kills me. Daryl is not the main. He's a supporting character, but he's not the main guy. It's kind of the whole group thing. The Walking Dead. I remember somebody
Whatever.
told me that and I was upset. Black Panther is getting released November 3rd, 2017, and the actor has finally been released. It's Chadwick Boseman. But after this whole, after the whole press release, they had this guy already in the bag a couple months ago. Mm-hmm. So this goes to what we were talking about last week, where I said they already have their guy. It's under wraps. They have him, and this kind of strongly enforces that he is going to have a role in the Avengers: Age of Ultron. I strongly believe he's going to have a talking role, at least 1 or 2 lines, a quick little introduction. Mm-hmm. And supposedly the Black Panther movie isn't going to be an origins movie. It's going to be what happens afterwards.
He's in Captain America 3.
And there's that too.
He's fully in it. He might get a scene, might get a cameo or a sentence in Avengers, but he's the third guy in Captain America 3. So they said you will see him in costume, Captain America 3. So that technically might be his sort of origin tale, but...
Mm-hmm. And that plays a major role for those of you guys who aren't into the comic book world. Wakanda, where the Black Panther's from, character's name is T'Challa. He's the king of Wakanda. That's the only place where you can find vibranium. Vibranium is the shield that Captain uses. That's what it's made out of. Vibranium is in Wakanda. So he's going to play a major role. Now, for those of you who've seen the trailer, we even see that little scene where the shield is broken in half. So where are they going to get more vibranium? In Wakanda. And who are they going to probably have to talk to get into Wakanda? T'Challa, a.k.a. Black Panther. So, like I said, I strongly believe he is going to have a talking role. We are going to learn who he is in the Avengers. But I agree. I think in Captain 3, we're actually going to learn more about him. It's going to be more of an origin. That way, when Black Panther comes out, it's going to be what happened to him, what's going on with him afterwards. We also get Ulysses Claw, played by Andy Serkis. He's, we saw him in the Avengers trailer, so he's going to be in the Black Panther movie as well. Next is a really big, like everybody's like... We all knew that Thanos was going to be the big baddie in Avengers 3, but what we did not know is that Avengers 3 and 4 are going to be the Thanos story arc. So the Avengers Infinity War Part 1 is going to be released in May 4th, 2018, and then Part 2 on May 3rd, 2019, so almost a year afterwards. And it's great because that's going to play more with the whole Civil War aspect, but it's also going to show us that we have truly this strong ultimate evil that they won't be able to beat the first time. They maybe have to go at it
evil,
again.
we need a 2-parter movie.
Right. I think the first movie is going to play a lot on the Infinity Gauntlet, how he gets it, and how all that happened. And I think the second part is actually going to be the actual battle for it.
Well, I kind of think at this point we have almost all these heroes now. There's no way we can cram them into one movie, especially like the Guardians of the Galaxy. I kind of have a feeling like we'll get our core Avenger team in Part 1, and then Part 2 is where everyone else comes in. Because, I don't know what they're doing off in space. Like, maybe they come down. They're not going to come down in Part 1 and Walter's going to be crowded in a, Avengers Tower drinking coffee.
That's another thing, too, is that I've read somewhere, I can't remember if it was during the press release or not, but I read somewhere that Captain is going to basically kind of have, like, in the movie, have a press conference and introduce the second wave of Avengers heroes. That's going to include some of the characters we talked about, including the next group we're going to talk about now. And that's going to lead the way for Part 2, for Avengers Part 2. So that's an option as well. Having the first team try to find him and then the second team being the one that take him down. Something like that. Next, Captain Marvel is going to be released July 6th, 2018. This one's been in the talks for a while and we finally got it confirmed. And basically, and not to tear it down or anything like that, but it's just a way for Marvel to introduce another female superpower hero for the fans and, be more equal with everything. And then the Inhumans, November 2nd, 2018 is the last movie in this roundup. Now the Inhumans, for those of you who don't know, are basically...
Marvel's X-Men.
Marvel's X-Men, yeah.
We can't
Marvel
get the rights
Studios
to X-Men,
right.
So we have Inhumans now.
Right. Now the Inhumans actually play a part in the Fantastic Four world, but they are their own, set of heroes. But what the Inhumans, what's speculated is that they're going to explain the superpower aspect in the world of the Avengers, or in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. X-Men has the rights to the genetic mutation, but Inhumans is going to be their way of explaining how mutants exist, basically. So that's the lineup that we got coming out for the next couple years. Jesse, what are your thoughts on these releases, these confirmations, and then what are your thoughts on any of the movies?
It's awesome. It's Marvel. They it's basically like, okay, your move, DC. Like, what are you gonna do now? They have their entire plan laid out. I didn't really think they were gonna just give us everything, but they got us everything. So, it's freaking awesome that we finally get to see this whole story conclude. Ever since the after credits of Iron Man, like now we get to see the entire where it was all leading. So, it's cool. I'm kind of, at the same time, I'm so psyched. Like, I'm saddened because Avengers 2.
Part 2 is May 3rd, 2019.
All these, my Avengers are old now. They're not going to be doing this anymore. That is really going to be the last ride of this first wave of Avengers. I mean, now we have the second wave of new heroes, but like my heroes are gone now.
And that's another thing too you mentioned, because we already know that Chris Evans, after his contract, he wants to take a break from acting to direct. Yeah. He's going to come back to act, obviously, but he wants to start directing a little bit. So we're not going to see any more of Steve Rogers in the next wave of Avengers if they start going to Phase 4 and 5. And that's another thing. Where are they going to go in Phase 4? Are they going to hit the reset button, or is there more stuff for them to do? That's something else that I'm kind of worried about.
I'm pretty confident that they are just going to do James Bond and just have the same Iron Man, Tony Stark character. He's just played by another guy. He's not Tony Stark's son. He's not Iron Man Jr. He's not Iron Man from another universe. He's just Iron Man. No reintroductions, no reboots. It's just played by a younger guy. They're probably going to do that for Thor. Probably going to do that for Captain America. Although Captain America makes more sense because you can do the Falcon. You could do
Bucky Barnes.
Yeah, Winter Soldier, and he could just be the new guy. But if they're going to get old too, I think they're just going to go James Bond and just this is James Bond. We know who he is. This is Captain America. This is Iron Man, Thor. We'll just all of a sudden see a new face and
yeah, I agree. I know they have a plan, and that's probably what they're gonna do. It kind of sucks for us because we have accepted these actors as these heroes. Mm-hmm. It's like Robert Downey Jr. is Iron Man. If you get somebody else to be Tony Stark, it's gonna take a while for us to be like, okay, I accept them as Tony Stark, but it's like I miss Robert. I want Robert back.
Doesn't really matter when he puts on the suit.
It's true. I'm excited for it as well. I'm big into comic books and things like that, and I'm super excited for these movies. And one thing that is very impressive to me is that Marvel has their plan and they're 100% behind it. So DC, they shared their information during a shareholders meeting, and that was it. They just have their titles. Whereas Marvel, they did a full conference thing with the fans. We have the titles, we have the logos, we got all of that set up.
They got excited over animated logos. That's all it was.
Right.
It was animated. It's a PowerPoint. Basically. Animated logos, and they go nuts over them animated logos.
Basically, but it just shows that Marvel is so ready. They're so enthusiastic about this that they're going forward. Now, there's also other leaks too, or other releases as well. For an example, we saw a look of Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet, having all the stones, and then I think it trailered into the Avengers Part 1. Then there was the whole Steve Rogers and Robert Downey Jr. and their scene. That was also released in there too. And they released a couple other stuff too, but the fact that they went through this whole extent, this whole thing, they did a couple Q&As with several fans and several news guys, that it just shows you that Marvel knows what they're doing, they have their plan, and they're just ready to push forward. Mm-hmm. Whereas DC, I don't get that enthusiasm from DC. With every more information, we're always going to talk about it, but I'm excited for what's happening and what Marvel is doing, and I just can't wait till we start watching these movies.
In 5 years, 10 years.
Alrighty guys, so that's it for the show. As a reminder, I just want to let you guys know that send us a picture of you in zombie mode, #zombie mode to TotallyAFan. It could be a picture from the Walking Dead mobile app. It could be you in your Halloween costume. I'll take it. Just make sure you send it to TotallyAFan either on Facebook or Twitter. #zombie mode. Let me see it. And then when I try to contact you, and if you want to win, I need you to be like, okay, thank you. This is my
information. A number right in the middle of the show, and whoever tweets us that number wins.
Okay, number is 7. Tweet us or Facebook number 7.
That way they have to watch the whole show.
Yeah.
Just say number 7 and you win.
Yeah, you win. That's all you got to do. Just tag TotallyAFan number 7. You'll win. You'll win the Walking Dead prize. Also, again, for any particular segments you want to watch, timestamps are downstairs in the description, so please check that out. As always, we always want to hear what you guys have to say. We want to know if you guys have any questions with the information that gets leaked out throughout the week, or if you guys have any topics that you guys want to talk about, I try to keep everything, all around, but sometimes, the information is more movie heavy. For an example, is the Avengers this week. Sometimes it may be comic book heavy, although that hasn't happened since I think season 1. It's going to be video game heavy, I think, in the next couple of weeks as Smash is getting ready to come out. So if there's anything in particular you guys want to talk about, please book it, mail it, tweet it, let me know, or you guys can post it in the comments down below. Alrighty guys, so until then, I want to thank you for being a part of this. I want to thank you for being a part of this. And until next time,
tweet number 7.
Tweet number 7 so you can win Walking Dead pop vinyl figure. Number 7, TotallyAFan.